Hey everyone, where we simplify the world of technology and finance. Today, we're diving into a topic that's revolutionizing the financial system as we know it, Bitcoin. You've probably heard of Bitcoin being called digital gold, or you've seen headlines about people making huge fortunes with it. But how many of us really understand how it works under the hood? By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the basics of how Bitcoin operates, but also gain insight into the revolutionary blockchain technology behind it and why Bitcoin could change the future of money. Whether you're a complete beginner or someone who's already heard about Bitcoin, there's something here for you. Let's get started. What is Bitcoin? So, what is Bitcoin really? At its core, Bitcoin is a form of digital currency, a currency that exists entirely online and has no physical counterpart, like coins or paper money. But unlike traditional currencies such as the US dollar or the euro, which are controlled by governments and central banks, Bitcoin is decentralized. This means no one, not a government, bank, or single institution, controls Bitcoin. It was invented in 2009 by an unknown person or group who went by the name Satoshi Nakamoto. What makes Bitcoin unique is not just that it's a currency, but the technology behind it, blockchain. This technology allows Bitcoin to be sent directly from one person to another without the need for a middleman, like a bank or payment processor. In traditional finance, banks play the role of a trusted third party. They ensure that when you send money to someone, the money arrives safely, and they also verify that you have enough funds in your account to make the transaction. But Bitcoin doesn't need a third party. Instead, it uses math and computer code to guarantee that transactions are safe and reliable. Pretty amazing, right? The blockchain, Bitcoin's backbone. Now, let's talk about blockchain, the revolutionary technology that powers Bitcoin. You have a notebook, and every time a Bitcoin transaction occurs, a new entry is written down. But instead of you being the only one with the notebook, thousands of people worldwide have the same notebook, and every entry is synchronized across all their notebooks. Every time a new transaction happens, everyone's notebook is updated simultaneously. This is essentially how the blockchain works. The blockchain is a public ledger that records every transaction made with Bitcoin. But what makes this ledger special is that it's decentralized. Instead of being stored in one central location, copies of the blockchain are stored across a network of computers around the world, called nodes. Every node has an identical copy of the blockchain, and they constantly communicate with each other to make sure the information is correct and up to date. So, how is this secure? Each block of transactions in the blockchain is connected to the previous block through a process called cryptography. When one block is added, it includes a unique identifier from the previous block, creating a chain of blocks that can't be altered without changing every single block that came before it. This cryptographic chain is what makes the blockchain immutable, meaning once a transaction is confirmed, it can never be changed or reversed. Think about how traditional banks operate. They have a central ledger that they maintain to track all transactions. This centralization is a single point of failure. If a bank's ledger is hacked or compromised, the whole system could be in trouble. With Bitcoin, because the blockchain is decentralized and distributed across thousands of computers, it's practically impossible to hack or alter it without getting caught. How do Bitcoin transactions work? Now that we understand the blockchain, let's walk through how a Bitcoin transaction actually works. Let's say you want to send some Bitcoin to your friend. Here's the step-by-step process. You create a transaction. You would use a Bitcoin wallet to create the transaction. A Bitcoin wallet is a software application that lets you send and receive Bitcoin. When you send Bitcoin, your wallet generates two important keys: a public key, your Bitcoin address, a private key, your password that you keep secret. You sign the transaction. When you want to send Bitcoin, you'll sign the transaction with your private key. This private key is a secret piece of data that proves you own the Bitcoin you're trying to send. The signed transaction is like your digital signature. It proves to the network that you have the right to spend the Bitcoin from your wallet. Broadcasting to the network. Once the transaction is signed, it gets broadcasted to the Bitcoin network. At this point, the transaction is waiting to be verified by the network's participants, which leads us to the next critical part of the system: mining. Bitcoin mining, validating transactions. You've probably heard the term Bitcoin mining, but what does it mean? Mining is the process that keeps the Bitcoin network secure and ensures transactions are valid. Here's how it works. Miners are computers, and sometimes groups of computers, that work to validate Bitcoin transactions. When a new transaction is broadcast to the network, miners bundle together all the unverified transactions into a new block and work to solve a complex mathematical puzzle. Why a puzzle? The puzzle, known as proof of work, is designed to be difficult and time-consuming to solve, but easy for the network to verify once it's solved. This process ensures that new blocks are added to the blockchain at a steady rate, roughly every 10 minutes. The importance of decentralization and trustlessness. A big part of why Bitcoin is revolutionary is its decentralized nature. With traditional financial systems, we rely on trusted third parties like banks, credit card companies, and governments to verify transactions and maintain records. But this comes with risks. Central authorities can fail, be hacked, or even censor your transactions. With Bitcoin, you don't need to trust any third party. The network itself, through cryptography and consensus mechanisms, ensures that transactions are legitimate and the system remains secure. This concept is known as trustlessness. You don't need to trust individuals or institutions because the rules of the system are enforced by the network itself. This makes Bitcoin permissionless. Anyone with an internet connection can use it without needing approval from a bank, government, or company. No one can stop you from participating, and no one can freeze or seize your Bitcoin without access to your private key. What makes Bitcoin unique compared to other currencies? So why are people so excited about Bitcoin compared to regular money? Let's explore a few key differences. Limited supply. Bitcoin has a fixed supply of 21 million coins. No more can ever be created. This scarcity is built into Bitcoin's code and is one of the reasons why many people believe it's a good store of value. Traditional currencies, on the other hand, can be printed by central banks, which can lead to inflation over time. Bitcoin's limited supply means it's deflationary, the opposite of traditional fiat currencies that lose value as more money is printed. Borderless and global Bitcoin doesn't care about national borders. You can send Bitcoin to anyone, anywhere in the world, at any time, without needing to worry about exchange rates, international bank transfers, or even time zones. In traditional finance, international transfers can take days and involve hefty fees. With Bitcoin, these barriers disappear, allowing for fast, low-cost transfers, transparency, and privacy. Every Bitcoin transaction is recorded on the blockchain, which means it's completely transparent. Anyone can look up the entire history of transactions. However, Bitcoin also offers a level of privacy because transactions are associated with Bitcoin addresses, not personal identities. While Bitcoin is not completely anonymous, it provides a higher level of privacy than traditional banking. Immutable and secure. Once a transaction is confirmed on the blockchain, it's permanent and immutable. This means you can't reverse or alter a Bitcoin transaction. This is a huge difference from traditional systems where banks can reverse transactions or freeze accounts. Bitcoin's blockchain ensures that once something is recorded, it's there for good. The future of Bitcoin, revolutionary or overhyped? So is Bitcoin the future of money? Well, that depends on who you ask. Some people believe Bitcoin will replace traditional currencies and become the world's reserve currency. Others see it as a digital gold, a store of value rather than something you'd use for daily purchases. There are also challenges that Bitcoin faces, such as scalability and regulation. Bitcoin's blockchain can currently handle about 7 transactions per second, while traditional payment systems like Visa can handle thousands. Solutions like Layer 2 technologies, like the Lightning Network, aim to solve this issue by allowing faster, smaller transactions to take place off-chain and then settle later on the Bitcoin blockchain. However, regardless of its future role, Bitcoin has already had a massive impact. It has paved the way for thousands of other cryptocurrencies and brought the idea of decentralized finance to the mainstream. And that's a wrap on how Bitcoin works. To quickly recap, Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency powered by blockchain technology. Whether or not Bitcoin becomes the future of money, it has already revolutionized how we think about ownership, value, and trust in the digital age.